Okay, in Exodus chapter 20, verse 11, God said, did you already answer this one?
Concerning Exodus, repeat just to be sure. What's the
It
that's
says, God said, in 6 days, Yahweh, your God, made the
That is
heavens and the earth.
yeah we went over the are you talking about Exodus 2011?
Yeah, what was the answer?
The answer is that he's conforming to the culture, and the point is that he's not trying to relay accurate information about science and all that. He's trying to relay accurate information about theology. That's what God's more uh, focused on in this whole thing is
and
about.
I added that, and I added that the Hebrews, much like the rest of the ancient Near East, were not all that concerned with precision as they were with the actual point of what they are writing about.
Right.
Okay. Later in Exodus chapter 34, verse 7, where God says that kids and grandkids are punished for the sins of their forefathers, how is that just?
Okay, so how is the part where it's mentioned in the law where it says that God has the kids and grandkids being punished for the sins of their forefathers? You're asking how is something that is established by the person who establishes the law, therefore, is the definition of what is just, asking how that is just?
Like, how is it just that that sons and grandsons, daughters and granddaughters should?
Right. But you did understand what my question to you about and that was, right?
What was that again?
I'm saying, so you're asking me to answer you, how is it just that the person who is the definitive and establisher of what is the moral, what is right and wrong, where we get our morals from, you're asking me, how is that just?
Do you think it's just?
I'm thinking that concerning that covenant and the way that the laws have been established with God there, yeah, that what he has established there for those people at that time was just.
Keep in mind, these
So,
are collectivists.
Hmm.
what?
Let me provide a link.
You got a link.
Yeah, James Patrick Holding covered this topic.
Yeah. All right. So is that in the YouTube thing there? All right. So
Yeah, I provided a link in the group chat.
so I
Yeah,
mean,
also
even
keep in mind that people back then were all collectivists. They identified far more with the group than they did with the individual.
mhm. And for that, I would say just simply kind of echo the words of Paul in Romans chapter 9, verse 19 to 21. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who are thou? Who are you that replies against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? And the principle we can get from this is that God has the right to do with his creation as he wishes. He is the establisher of that. So who are you, oh man? Who are you, white Injun, that to reply with God with that kind of question concerning what the text points out is that he is the one who establishes the law. So whenever we go to Exodus, I believe at 34, and point out the issue of these passages here, that 34 verse 7, when it says, and let's go over these. It's actually, well, it says verse 7, we have the issue of verse 5 in parallel with the context, or it's pairing up here with the context. And the Lord descended into the cloud, stood, proclaimed the name of the Lord, and the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long suffering and abundant in goodness and truth. So these are the things about him. These are his attributes. Keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, and upon the third and to the fourth generation. And it's saying this because this whole thing that's going on here is
So
also the
6
issue
and
of
7
God's
seems to be a
wrath.
giant
Hang on.
contradiction.
No, it's not actually, because when it comes to this, again, we know that God is a God of wrath, and that is clearly stated in the Bible. Nahum chapter 1, verse 2. God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries and reserve wrath for his enemies. So while we have God being merciful and loving, he's definitely loving and merciful to those who obey him and who adhere to him as Lord and that worship him. But when it comes to those who are willing to be in sin and put a curse upon their own family and all that, then yeah, he's definitely going to follow through with the punishment of the law and make no exception. He is not a favoritor of persons. He makes no exceptions or mercies on people concerning that period in which he's going to.
Yeah, and there's also the video by James Patrick Holding I put in the group chat and in the live chat. So
Yeah.
if you click on that, and it will contextualize this whole thing a bit more.
Yeah, even in a skit of it. So, anyways, so does that help out with your question there?
Sure, I'll take a look.